1 year away from retirement, and I want to share something that genuinely surprised me the first time I saw the data. Something I now share with almost every client with 1 year to go. The people who are not yet retired are consistently and dramatically more worried about retirement than the people who are actually living it. Here's the number. According to Gallup's 2026 survey data, 4 in 5 retirees, that's 80%, say they have enough money to live comfortably. Only 53% of non-retirees expect to be able to say the same. That's a 37-point gap between fear and reality. And according to TransAmerica's 2024 retirement reality study, 44% of retirees said their enjoyment of life had actually improved since they retired. 41% said they were happier. Here's what I think is underneath that gap. Most of the people who are anxious about retirement, and I mean reasonably anxious, don't actually have a plan for how it works. They have a balance in an account and a general hope that it'll stretch. The people who did the work, started with their foundation in year 5, tax strategy with 4 years to go, Social Security in year 3, the paycheck with 2 years left, walk up to retirement day holding something the anxious group doesn't have. Clarity about exactly how it runs. And clarity is the thing that turns dread into confidence. With 1 year to go before retirement, this is your implementation year. Every big decision's already made. Strategy is already built. This year is about one thing: converting all of it into a real running system that works on the very first day. Let's get into it. I'm Will Hoffman, founder and president of Hoffman Wealth Management, and this is Pre-Retirement Navigated. With 1 year to go, this is a different animal. The heavy lifting is behind you. This year adds no new complexity. It takes the 4 years of work you've already done and turns it into a system that runs smoothly, predictably, and on its own from the morning you retire. The decisions were made in year 5 through 2. Year 1 is where they become real. Let me give you the frame for the entire year. I want you to work backwards from one specific moment. Not the party, not the last day at the office, the first ordinary morning of your retirement. That random Tuesday, 3 weeks in. On that Tuesday, a short list of things simply has to already be true. Money has to be arriving, the tax on it has to be handled, your coverage has to be real, and every decision has to be behind you. All of year 1 is just the work of making those things already true before you get there. Some of what has to be true that morning runs itself once you set it up. Some of it can never be undone once you do it, so it gets the most care. Some of it is insurance against a rough first year, and some of it you simply have to live for a while before you'll actually believe in it, and in that order. Start with the part that once you build it, never asks anything of you again. For your entire working life, money showed up without you lifting a finger, just landed. Every 2 weeks, like the weather. The single most valuable thing you can build in year 1 is to recreate exactly that. Income that arrives on its own on the date you can circle on a calendar, with no login, no order to place, no dollar for you to move by hand. So this is the year you convert the paycheck you designed back in year 2 from a plan on a page into standing instructions the machinery just follows. The distribution that leaves your investment accounts on a schedule you set one time. The deposit that hits your checking account the same day every month. The reserve sitting in its own account, already full, already waiting for the bad month it exists for. The tax quietly skimmed off each source before the money ever reaches you. You set each of these once, and then you leave them alone and you let them run. And here's why this is far more than housekeeping. There's a real fork in the road between a retiree whose income lands automatically and one who has to decide every single month what to sell in order to eat. That second person is making an investment decision 12 times a year, often at the worst possible moments with their own grocery money riding on it. The first person isn't deciding anything at all. The system already decided back when they were calm and clear-headed. Automatic income isn't a convenience feature. It's the thing that keeps you from making a frightened decision on an ugly market morning. You are, in effect, buying your future self the gift of not having to be disciplined. Now, the opposite kind of task. The short list of things in year 1 you cannot take back once they're done, or that slam shut on a fixed date whether you're ready or not. These get handled with the most care of anything all year, because a mistake here doesn't hand you a do-over. And the most expensive one in this entire 5-year series isn't an investment mistake at all. It's a calendar mistake. If you're coming up on 65, Medicare gives you an enrollment window, and it's genuinely unforgiving. Miss it, and what you owe isn't a one-time fee you pay and forget. It's a surcharge welded onto your premium for the rest of your life. Here's exactly what missing the Medicare Part B enrollment window costs. The penalty is 10% of the standard Part B premium, which in 2026 is $202.90 per month. For each full 12-month period you are eligible but did not enroll. Wait 2 years and the penalty is 20%. That's an extra $40.58 added to your monthly Part B premium for life. Wait 7 years, which sounds extreme, but happens all the time when people retire before 65 and lose track of the window, and the penalty is 70%. That's $344.93 a month instead of $202.90 every month. And the same structure hits Part D prescription coverage 1% of the national base beneficiary premium, which is $38.99 in 2026 for every month you went without credible coverage. Both penalties are permanent. The one thing that legitimately pauses that clock is what's called creditable coverage, real active employer insurance. Yours or your spouse's still in force at age 65. While that's covering you, you can delay Medicare with no penalty at all. But the day that coverage ends, an 8-month clock starts running, whether anyone reminds you or not. And when it runs out, the surcharges are back on the table. And if you're leaving before 65 entirely, the stretch between your last day of work and your Medicare card is a coverage gap you have to fill on purpose. Marketplace, Cobra, a spouse's plan, priced to the dollar and written into your cash flow before you go. It is hands down the most underestimated line item in early retirement budgets. That same handle with care rule covers the stack of paperwork that closes out your working life, because several of those pages are one-way doors in their own right. A pension election is usually permanent the second you sign it. The single life versus survivor choice you make that day generally can't be rechosen later. Then there are rollovers, the stock and equity decisions carrying their own expiration dates, and how your final PTO or severance pays out and in which tax year it lands. None of these are new decisions. You've made the actual choices back in year 4 and in year 2. What's left is pure execution, because a handful of them genuinely cannot be unwound. Every signature in year 1 should trace back to a decision you've already made on purpose. If a form asks you something you haven't thought through yet, that's not paperwork. That's a decision hiding in an envelope. Stop, open it carefully, read it before you sign. The third kind of work, the insurance you take out against your first year going sideways. By now, your Social Security claiming decision is finished, the date is chosen, the coordination between the two of you is settled. You know which check starts when and what it pays. That part is genuinely done. What year 1 adds on top of it isn't more optimizing. It's a set of responses written down in advance for the short list of things that realistically go wrong right at the start. If your plan only describes the version where everything cooperates, then the very first time reality doesn't cooperate, you're improvising, making a big, often permanent money decision while you're rattled and scared. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple. Make those decisions now while you're calm and set them on the shelf. What is our move if the market drops hard in the first year while we're already pulling income? What is our move if one of us has a health change that reshapes the timeline? What is our move if a big expense lands that was never invited? You don't need to predict which of these actually happens. You need each answer already written down so that when one of them does arrive, you're not deciding under stress. You're just pulling the page you wrote back when you were thinking clearly. A plan with its bad days pre-answered isn't a pessimistic plan. It's the only kind that holds up when a real one shows up. And the last kind of work is the one you cannot do on paper at all, because it's the single thing in this whole series a spreadsheet is physically incapable of telling you. A spreadsheet can confirm that the number balances match. It cannot tell you how the number feels to live on. So, before you make it permanent, you go live inside it for a while. You've almost certainly run your retirement income figure a dozen different ways by now. Here's what I want you to do with it in these final months. Actually hold your real life to it for a stretch. 2 months, 3 months while you've still got a salary running underneath you as a net. Not a budget you glance at on a Sunday, a number you genuinely live inside with real groceries and real bills and a real surprise expense or two. The way an actual month behaves when you're not watching. However you keep yourself honest, a separate account, a hard spending cap, an app that nags you at the register, the enforcement gadget matters not even a little. What matters is that for a few real months, that number simply is your life. And be clear on what you're actually fishing for, because it's not proof that you can pinch a penny. You're fishing for the 1 or 2 categories that are quietly wrong. The line you lowballed without realizing it, the month that doesn't actually work at the level you've penciled in. That is the whole prize, because a number that's off is almost nothing to fix when you catch it with 10 months of salary still landing in your account. You nudge it and you move one way or another. That very same wrong number discovered on day 30 of a retirement that you've already executed is not a nudge anymore. It's a scramble. The rehearsal quietly converts what could have been a genuine crisis into a small, boring correction that you make while it's still cheap to make it. That's exactly why the last thing you do, and honestly, it's the piece that does the most for how you actually feel the morning you walk in. So come back to that ordinary Tuesday morning 3 weeks in. If you've done year 1, here's what's true when you open your eyes. The income already landed. The tax on it is already handled. The reserve is sitting there full. The coverage is real and already paid for. Every last form is signed and behind you. There's nothing to figure out that morning, because you already figured all of it out on purpose, back when you had the time. That's the entire job with 1 year to go. I want to close with something I've watched play out over 23 years. The anxiety people carry into the years before retirement, almost all of it comes from not knowing. Not knowing if the number's right, not knowing if the plan holds, not knowing how month 1 actually works when it's real. And that anxiety is real. It is widely shared. According to Gallup's 2026 polling, 69% of non-retirees say they're very or moderately worried about not having enough money in retirement. But among actual retirees, the number drops to 39%. The 30-point gap doesn't come from luck. It comes from people who reach retirement with a real plan, who knew how their income worked, where it came from, and what happened in the first month and in the first year. The plan is what closes that gap between anxiety of anticipation and the reality of a retirement that actually works. Year 1 is when you stop worrying and start knowing. That's the work that you do. If today, put a question mark next to your own year 1, whether your systems are actually set up, whether the healthcare transition is truly handled, whether the automation is really in place, here are 2 ways that you can take the next step. First, grab our free retirement readiness checklist. It's the same framework we open every client relationship with. It'll lay out where you stand across all 5 years, what's handled, what's still loose, and what deserves your attention first. Link is right underneath this video in the show notes. Second, you can book a no-cost discovery call with our office. It's not a sales pitch. This is a real conversation about your situation, where you are, what's done, and what still needs to happen before retirement day. It's an honest read on whether we're the right people to get across that finish line with you. No pressure, nothing owed. That link to book that call is just under the checklist in the show notes below. I'm Will Hoffman. This is Pre-Retirement Navigated, and I look forward to seeing you on next week's episode.